In tonight's headlines, Financial Secretary Paul Chan tries to strike a balance between revenue and government expenditure before next year's budget, which is likely to see a deficit of nearly $100 billion. Tourism chief Rosanna Law wants visitors to fall back in love with Hong Kong rather than striving for very high tourist numbers. And a fire at a market in Hebei province kills 8 people.
With less than 2 months ahead of the 2025-26 budget announcement, Financial Secretary Paul Chan slightly adjusted downward his projection of this year's fiscal deficit to some level under $100 billion, and was confident that property prices will not keep on falling. Last month, Chan estimated that this year's deficit will swell to about $100 billion, more than 2 times that of the initial estimation. Speaking to over 130 citizens at a town hall session, the finance chief noted that the city's economic growth had missed expectations because of high interest rates and geopolitical tension, leading to falling property prices, which in turn killed developers' appetite in buying lands. Dozens of residents raised their opinions over land sale. This man suggested to relaunch land sale by the application mechanism, where developers interested in a plot could propose an auction and to offer a 5% rebate to developers to boost their enthusiasm. Chan made it clear that land auction would not be introduced because the government wants to take full lead in land sales depending on the market situation. This man said developers are not purchasing land because they anticipate a future decline in property prices. Chan strongly opposed this viewpoint, reinstating that the property market is undergoing an adjustment period due to the high interest rate and geopolitical factors, adding that recently there have been signs of property prices recovering with sales rising. Meanwhile, the financial chief emphasized a further review of the government's fiscal consolidation program in the upcoming budget, such as controlling the expenditure and prioritizing government projects based on urgency and importance. He added that the goal is to narrow the gap between government expenditure and revenue, hoping to restore fiscal balance in the coming years. Evelyn Bai, Cable News.
Tourism Minister Rosanna Law emphasized that the government's priority for the new year is not merely to boost tourist numbers, but to enhance the quality of hospitality. Talking to iCable News, Law reported a 17% month-on-month increase in visitor numbers for December, with 2024's total amounting to 45 million, aligning closely with initial estimates. When asked if tourist numbers would return to pre-pandemic levels, she noted that the primary goal for the new year is not focused on the actual numbers, but to cultivate a lasting affection for Hong Kong among visitors, encouraging them to return. Earlier this week, the government released a new tourism blueprint, highlighting that the contract for the Kai Tak cruise terminal operator will expire in 2028, with the tender process set to begin this year. The tourism chief stressed the need for transformation, noting that cruise ship dockings have returned to pre-pandemic levels. To attract more ships, the government may ask operators to commit to a specific number of docking days each year. Additionally, she expressed openness to utilizing the terminal as a future performance venue. The blueprint also called for updating the mega event calendar every 6 months and improving regulation mechanisms. Law mentioned that authorities are researching ways to ensure event promotions align with actual outcomes. Regarding better use of the city's waters, Law stated that the government is considering new coastal attractions for sea tours and exploring the possibility of opening special venues, like the Star Ferry cockpit, to enhance visitors' cultural and historical experiences. Jeremy Zhu, Cable News. 5 individuals have been arrested in connection with over 20 cases involving counterfeit tickets for Andy Lau's concert at the Hong Kong Coliseum. Police said they have been receiving reports since last month from residents who purchased tickets through unofficial channels, only to be informed at the venue that their tickets were fake. The suspects, aged 18 to 45, are suspected to have obtained property by deception. They allegedly used various platforms, including social media, to arrange meetings with victims, selling the fake tickets for between $2,000 and $5,000, well above the original price. Authorities highlighted that the counterfeit tickets closely mimic genuine ones in print quality, anti-counterfeiting features, and paper texture. The public is urged to be cautious and avoid purchasing tickets from unofficial sources.
The Legislative Council has approved 34 government bills last year, bringing the total to 83 since the electoral system was reformed 3 years ago, LegCo President Andrew Leung said today, highlighting the Council's efficiency and significant achievements. Speaking on a television program, Leung described the previous year as very busy, particularly noting the successful enactment of the Safeguarding National Security Bill under Article 23 of the Basic Law, a key legislative objective for Hong Kong. Leung stressed that the rapid progress did not imply negligence. Rather, all procedures were meticulously followed to expedite the legislative process. He highlighted that, unlike previous sessions, this council has avoided disruptive tactics such as filibustering and personal attacks, although robust discussions and differing opinions remained. Addressing concerns about some bills passing with low support, Leung clarified that dissent had been voiced early in the legislative process, not just during votes. He asserted that a productive legislature engages in constructive dialogue rather than merely obstructing government initiatives. In terms of legislative focus, more than half of this term's proposals relate to mainland China or central government policies, including public welfare issues. Leung defended this trend by stating that many issues are interconnected with national interests and should not be viewed in isolation. Kun Ting-yak, Cable News.
Residents are urged to get flu shots as soon as possible and wear masks when out in public, since flu cases in the city have reached the baseline set by the World Health Organization, and a peak in cases is expected around Lunar New Year. Talking on a radio program, infectious disease specialist Ivan Hong said it was observed that many residents returning from foreign countries like Japan have exhibited flu symptoms. Since there is a large number of young children getting the flu, he anticipated a mild outbreak in kindergartens and schools over the next week, followed by a wider spread in the community. Hospital admissions will gradually rise around the Lunar New Year, particularly among the elderly and those with chronic illnesses who are more prone to complications, he said. He warned that for seniors who have not been jabbed, the situation could be more severe, highlighting that each year, nearly 30% of individuals over the age of 65 who are hospitalized due to flu complications do not survive.
The Transport and Logistics Bureau is committed to enhancing Hong Kong's transportation landscape and solidifying its status as a global aviation hub in the new year, said newly appointed Chief Mabel Chen. Writing on her blog, Chen outlined 3 key guidelines for the development of the city's air, land, and sea transport. Specifically, the Bureau plans to significantly expand the Airport City project, more than doubling its size to create a world-class hub. The Airport Authority will announce the development plan soon, Chen said. For land transport, details regarding the Southbound Travel for Guangdong Vehicles initiative will be reviewed later this year, along with upgrades to cross-border road connections, including the Northern Metropolis Highway. The authority also aims to implement measures from the Green Maritime Fuel Bunkering Action Plan to enhance a multi-fuel strategy and capitalize on Hong Kong's strengths as a major refueling hub. Furthermore, this year's objectives include expanding the existing air transshipment cargo exemption scheme into a multimodal transport mode, with legislative proposals planned for next year. to attract more goods to transit through the city and strengthen its competitiveness as an international shipping center and regional logistics hub. Quentin Yang, Cable News. A serious fire broke out at a marketplace in Zhangjiakou City of Hebei province this morning, killing 8 people while injuring 15 others, according to local authorities. The blaze at the marketplace, which sells vegetables and other essential goods, has been extinguished in about 1.5 hours. Many people were trapped inside the market due to thick smoke, prompting firefighters to use ladders for rescues, according to the authorities. Search and rescue work was completed at midday. The injured have received hospital treatment and their conditions were reported as non-life-threatening. The cause of the fire is currently under investigation.
The 56th Speaker of the United States House of Representatives, the Honorable Mike Johnson.
Republican Mike Johnson survived a thin vote to retain one of the most powerful posts in Washington, controlling the lower chamber of the U.S. Congress. Johnson faced opposition from fellow Republicans during the initial votes, but was able to prevail by a slim 218 to 215 margin. The Louisiana native began his remarks with a moment of silence for the victims killed in a terror attack in New Orleans on New Year's Day. President-elect Donald Trump had already endorsed Johnson as House Speaker, saying it will be a big win for the Republican Party. Johnson said his party will cut down bureaucracy and provide a stable and efficient administration.
We're going to drastically cut back the size and scope of government. We're going to return the power back to the people. And in coordination with President Trump and his administration, we are going to create a leaner, faster, and more efficient federal workforce. We need to do that.
Johnson also vowed to champion the idea of America First, a slogan promoted by Trump. The sentencing of U.S. President-elect Donald Trump in his hush money case will be done just 10 days before he's sworn in as the 47th President of the United States. A judge of the New York State Supreme Court said Trump will not face jail time and instead be given an unconditional discharge. Trump can attend the hearing on January 10th in person or virtually. Just over 6 months ago, Trump was convicted for manipulating financial records to pay $130,000 US to adult film star Stormy Daniels to remain silent about her alleged sexual encounter with the former president. Trump has denied all charges and said the case was politically motivated to harm his presidential campaign.